tonight we have purchased the Agile bundle, and one of the first ships that we're going to be taking out is the DAVINCI / T6 Saber class. I've been looking forward to this since the announcement, and I must say, one, this is an awesome fleet shot. Love it. Shout out to those captains who are with me here. But they did a very, very good job with the remodel on this ship. And I'd have to agree with the fellow captain that they said this looks like an evil eye, but that's another thing. So we're just going to quickly go over how I built this out, and this is my interpretation of a cannon / on-screen accurate build. Okay, so what we did here is put 4 photon torpedo launchers at the front, because when we saw the ship in first contact, you literally just saw it spitting out photon torpedoes. So what I put on the front here is the prolonged engagement photon torpedo, the Terran Task Force photon torpedo, a normal photon torpedo launcher that is crit DM damage 4, and then my favorite photon torpedo, the gravimetric photon torpedo, which there may be a high possibility chance that I may kill myself with this, but it's okay. It looks pretty. For our space set, nothing new, essentially the same that we've been using for our other builds. The Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector, the prevailing innervated impulse engines, the mycelial harmonic matter antimatter core, and the Tilly's review pending modified shield. For the aft weapons, since I don't see aft launchers here, I'm going to use my head cannon and think that these are the spots where the mines come out. So we're going to use mines in the aft here to also punch up its kinetic DPS here. So we have the modulating competition mine launcher, a Thoron infused quantum mine, a Tetrion mine launcher as well. So 3 mines in the back. For experimental weapon, it's going to be using the Soliton Wave Impeller, and only because at this moment of this recording, the Gatling gun that it comes with is actually bugged where it locks out all of your weapons, and I heard even buff weapons, so we'll just leave that there for now. For our devices, we have the Temporal Negotiator, and of course our Torp Candy, which is the Battery Kinetic Amplifier, which gives us plus 30% bonus projectile damage for 20 seconds. Our consoles, this is where I'm taking my head cannon and using this as the opportunity to upgrade, quote-unquote, the Saber, because it's not only going to launch photons, but it's also going to be launching quantum torpedoes with this opening salvo console, which is good for torpedo boats because it takes down the shield. So then I guess, of course, we can then unleash on the hull of our targets, along with the Tricobalt Tear launcher. But for the phaser look, we are going to be using the Emulating Phaser Lance. And then for DPS boosting, we're going to use the binaural infusion circuits, the ferrofluid hydraulic for the minus 0.5 second share torpedo recharge time, and of course the ordnance accelerator, which is the minus 1.5 second shared mine recharge time, and of course it gives us boost to mine recharge speed, projectile weapon damage, and phaser damage as well. So this is a very, very good console. And then 3 torpedo locators. That's what we're going to use here. For our traits, again, things that we've been using before. We have a good day to die, so we can keep using our go down fighting as a buff, superior projectile training, kinetic precision, hot pursuit for our mines to have them chase down the targets. Into the breach gives us a debuff when we kill enemies. Resonating payload modification. Unconventional systems to cool down off of our unconventional proc buff powers to cool down our universal consoles. Terran targeting systems intelligence agent attaché, and the Boimler effect, which is a very, very good CD reduction. For our Starship Trace, ETM, Ceaseless Momentum, Subspatial Warheads, Universal Designs, and Assault Formation Theta. One of my favorite traits. Space Reputation, we're using the Torpedo Pre-Fire Sequence, Magnified Firepower, Omega Kinetic Shearing, Precision, and Tyler's Duality. For our doofs, we're using 3 projectile weapon officers for stacking crit severity upon firing projectiles. We're also using the emergency con to recharge our evasive maneuvers whenever we use emergency powered engines. This DOF over here that gives us plus damage to Borg because we like fighting the Borg. And then Brad Boimler to give us Toxic Clouds from torpedoes because it's Brad Boimler from Lower Decks and I love Lower Decks. So that is essentially the build. What we'll do right now is head over to a Elite Patrol to see how she does. We're just going to do Argala. I might blow up, but that's okay. We're just going to see how she does. We're just going to see how she does. This will give me an idea if we have to change anything for survivability or add more punch to her, but really this is not that far off from any of the cannon builds that we've done so far. So here we go. Let's do this up. Get our mines out there. Oh, what'd I say about my Grav Torp? But at least we get to see the pretty explosion. At least we get to see the pretty explosion. Animation, which is great. And one more time, with feeling. Okay, there we go. Oh, let's change our power levels here. Forgot something there. So we're gonna go engines and then shields next.
You have entered an... You are now my... Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding.
Ooh.
Go quietly.
Boom.
And surrender to the Bentham Guard. Sensors are picking up small habitations in some of the assets, possibly consistent with bolt holes, temporary hideouts. where we want.
Oof, that looks pretty. It's all about looking good in this game.
We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance.
Oof, all those torps flying, I love it.
You with me?
Alright.
That's got it. Excellent work. We'll send over
And
a
there we go.
pacification party and take the suspect into custody.
So, other than my death, that was caused by me,
Thank you for your assistance. We've reached.
this ship performs pretty well. And when I decide to build her for metatorps, she's gonna do even better. So like I said, I have been very excited to get this ship, get my hands on her and build her out. The next one that we're going to be doing is the Nova, but this is the ship that we'll be using for now. So she looks good, she hits good. She's a very, very fine ship and highly, highly recommended. I know a lot of people will build this for like energy weapons or beam overload, but I love using torpedoes because that just to me feels more on-screen accurate. So that's what we're going to be using. Whew, she looks good. Sorry, one more thing. One thing we didn't do was go over the stations, but it's pretty much what you would expect on a torp boat that I would make, but the difference here is mixed armament synergy, which will give us a plus 50% bonus all damage when we activate either cannon scatter volley or FA for our torpedoes. So that's kind of the big thing here. That's where most of our damage, and really it performed really well. And she didn't even get tickled much by the Benthans there on Elite Patrol. So, and yes, I named this the USS DAVINCI for as a tribute to Triz's mom. So there we go.